Y'all ready? Part 2, 12 hours later. Chapter 16. Max and Sarah took their seats at the interrogation table. Rachel Anderson sat alone across from them. They introduced themselves and asked her yet again whether she wanted counsel present. Rachel waived the right. Hold on. Okay, let me begin, Max said, by thanking you for talking to us. Of course, Rachel said, all wide-eyed and innocent. But can you tell me what this is about? Max glanced at Sarah. Sarah rolled her eyes. They were in the FBI building in North New Jersey, some 500 miles from Briggs Penitentiary. Their bolo, be on the lookout, had finally been answered by the Port Authority police when Rachel Anderson's New Jersey license plate had been picked up on camera crossing the George Washington Bridge, traveling west from New York to New Jersey. After calling for backup, the bolo had stated that escaped convict David Burrows was armed and dangerous. New Jersey state troopers pulled over Rachel Anderson's white Toyota Camry on Route 4 in Teaneck, New Jersey. My hometown. I mean, not my hometown, but I'm from New Jersey. David Burrows was not in the vehicle. Max decided to go the direction route. Where is your former brother-in-law, Miss Anderson? Rachel's mouth dropped open. David? Yes, David Burrows. David's in prison, Rachel said. He's serving time at Briggs Penitentiary up in Maine. Max and Sarah just stared at her. Sarah sighed. Really, Rachel? What? That's the route you're going to take with this? Max put his hand on Sarah's arm. I realize that you've waived your right to counsel, he said to Rachel, but let me offer you some reassurances. Reassurances? Rachel repeated. Max silenced Sarah's next rejoinder with a gentle squeeze. We will give you full immunity right now, providing you tell us the truth. Rachel looked at Sarah, then back to Max. I don't understand what you mean. Sarah shook her head. My God. Then let me clarify what I mean by full immunity. Suppose, shot in the dark here, you helped David Burrows escape from prison. If you tell us where he is or what role you play in this very serious federal crime, a crime that can put you behind bars for many years, Sarah added. Right, Max said. Thank you. You won't be charged. You'll just walk. Wait, Rachel said, putting her hand to her chest. David escaped? Sarah sat back and plucked at her own lower lip. She studied Rachel and then gestured towards her. What do you think, Max? Really fine performance, Sarah. You? I don't know, Max. Don't you think maybe she's overselling her shock here? Yeah, a little, I guess, Max conceded. Her weight before the David escape might have been gliding a little. And the hand to her chest move, it was too much. If she had pearls, she probably would have clutched them. Still, Max said, I would say there has to be an Oscar buzz for this performance. A nomination, maybe, Sarah said, but not a win. They both offered up sarcastic golf claps in Rachel's directions. Rachel stayed quiet. When David Burrows escaped, Max continued, we sent a man over to your motel. Person, Max, Sarah said. What? You said you sent a man over. That's a bit sexist, don't you think? I do. I apologize. Where was I? Sent a law enforcement officer to her motel. Right. Max turned to Rachel. You weren't there, of course. The front desk informed us that you were most likely at the Nesbitt Station Diner. I guess you'd complain about the motel's Wi-Fi. So, Rachel countered, is it a crime to go to a diner? The waitress told us that not long after the escape alarm sounded, you hurried out of the diner. And right before you hurried out, Sarah said, you received a phone call. Rachel shrugged. I may have, so? Do you remember who that call was from? Max asked. I don't know. I might not have picked up. I don't a lot of times. The waitress saw you answer it. It was probably spam then. I get those a lot. This wasn't spam, Sarah said. It was from David Burrows. Rachel frowned. David is in federal prison. How will he have a phone? Wow, Sarah said, throwing up her hands in mock surrender. He stole it during his escape, Max said. Of course, Max didn't really believe that the phone Burrows used had been genuinely stolen. He figured that both Philip and Adam had given David their phones as part of the escape plot, but there was no reason to offer that up now. The caller ID would have shown the name Adam McKenzie. Do you know who that is? Sure. Adam grew up with David. Do you recall receiving that call from Adam's phone? I don't. Sorry, Rachel offered with a fake apology smile. Maybe it went into voicemail. Do you want me to check? Max and Sarah exchanged another glance. This was not going to be easy. After you left the diner, Max said, where did you go? I live here in New Jersey. Yes, we know. Well, that's where I was heading, home. I was almost there when a bunch of state troopers pulled me over with guns drawn, scared the hell out of me. Then I was brought here. So you intended to drive straight home from the diner, Max asked. Yes, but you didn't check out of the motel. Your clothes are still in your room, your personal items. I planned on coming back. What do you mean? The room is cheaper by the week, Rachel said, so I decided to just hold on to it. I came home to run some errands, check on my place, that kind of thing. I planned on coming back up to Maine on Thursday. She sat forward. I'm very confused, Detective. Special Agent, Sarah corrected. He's a Special Agent Max Bernstein of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I'm Special Agent Sarah. Rachel met her eyes and held it. Special Agent, you must be very proud. Max didn't want to get sidetracked. After you left the diner, did you drive straight home, Miss Anderson? Rachel sat back. I may have stopped along the way. 8 minutes after David Burrows called you, your Toyota Camry was picked up on CCTV near the Lamley Outlet Center. Right. I thought about doing some shopping. She turned to Sarah. They have a Tory Burch store. Did you? Max pressed. Did I what? Stop. No. Why not? I changed my mind. So you drove there and just left? Something like that. And by stunning coincidence, Sarah continued, the Lamley Outlet Center was where David Burrows hid after his escape. I don't know anything about that. Did David really escape? Sarah ignored the question. We got a location tap for your iPhone from your cell provider. They pinged your phone, but guess what? Rachel shrugged. Your phone has been powered all the way down, Sarah said, so we couldn't track it. Is that supposed to be incriminating? It is, yes. Why? I turn my phone off when I'm driving sometimes. I don't like to be disturbed. No, Rachel, you do not do that, Sarah snapped. According to your cell provider, your phone hasn't been powered off in the past 4 months. We also know that you turned it off after driving 10 miles north on the Lamley Outlet Center, which is in the opposite direction of New Jersey. Rachel gave another no big deal shrug. I wanted to see a few sights before heading home. Oh, that sounds reasonable, Sarah said in pure deadpan. Your ex-brother-in-law escapes from prison. Soon after, the phone he stole calls yours. You react by driving to the outlet center where he's hiding. Then for some reason, even though you claim you weren't heading home without checking out your motel, you started driving in the opposite direction and suddenly turned off your mobile phone for the first time since updating your software 4 months ago. That sounds about right? Rachel smiled at Sarah and then turned her attention to Max. Am I under arrest, Special Agent Bernstein? Not as long as you're cooperating, Max said. So if I choose to get up and leave, let's not do hypotheticals, Miss Anderson. If that's okay, Max said. We also know that you kept driving north after turning off your phone, approximately 30 miles further up I-95. David Burrows, using a stolen credit card, purchased survival gear of various sorts, tents, pocket knives, sleeping bags, stuff like that, from the general store. The store owner gave us a positive ID on him. Any comment? Rachel shook her head. I don't know anything about that. It's all parkland and woods up in that area. Miles and miles of it. Someone could get dropped off and never be seen again. They could slowly make their way to the Canadian border. Rachel Anderson said nothing. Sarah decided to switch gears. Their hope was to keep her off balance and surprised by the wealth of information they've been able to learn in just a few hours. Why did you choose to visit David Burrows now? David was my brother-in-law. We used to be close. But this was your very first trip to Briggs. Yes. He'd been there, 4, 5 years? Something like that. Sarah spread her hands. So why now, Rachel? I don't know. I felt like it was time. Do you believe David Burrows killed your nephew? Rachel's gaze slid to the far left. I do, yes. You don't seem that sure. Oh, I'm sure, but I don't think he meant it. I think he had some kind of blackout or breakdown. So you don't blame him, Max said. Not really, no. What did you two talk about during your visit? I just asked David how he was. And how was he? Still broken. David didn't want visitor. He just wanted to be left alone. Yet you came back the next day. Yes. And planned to return again. David and I were close. Before all of this, I mean. I also confided in him. Do you mind telling us what about? It doesn't really matter. I've had some setbacks of my own. And you thought what? He'd be a sympathetic ear? Rachel's voice was soft. Something like that. And by setback, Sarah said, do you mean your recent divorce? Or, Max added, the scandal that ended your career? Rachel stayed very still. Max leaned closer. No reason for subtlety anymore. It's all unraveling, Miss Anderson. You know that, don't you? She didn't take the bait. Look how much Sarah dug up in just a few hours. We are going to catch him. There's no question about it. If he's lucky, we will catch him alive. But David Burrows is a convicted child killer who stole a firearm from a warden. So, Max shrugged to indicate that this was out of his control. As soon as we do catch him, probably in the next 4 hours, Sarah and I will turn all our efforts towards building a case against you for aiding and abetting. You'll serve a very long time, Sarah said. This is not an idle threat on our part, Max said. Not a threat, Sarah repeated, giving Rachel the dagger eyes again. I can't wait to put you behind bars. Unless, Sarah. Unless what, Max? Unless she cooperates, here and now. Sarah frowned. I don't think we need her, Max. You're probably right. But maybe Miss Anderson didn't know what she was getting involved. Maybe she didn't understand what she was doing. Oh, she understood. But still, we agreed, Sarah. If Rachel tells us what she knows now, we give her full immunity. That was before Max. Now I want her to serve time for jerking us around like this. You have a point, Sarah. Rachel stayed silent. This is your last chance, Max said. Your get out of jail free card expires in 3 minutes. Then we arrest her, Max? Then we arrest her, Sarah. Sarah folded her hands and put them on the table. So what do you say, Rachel? I changed my mind, Rachel says. I want my lawyer. And that's the end of chapter 16. Okay. Rachel is steadfast. She is not going to give up David. Why not? because she want David to find Matthew so she can have a story to try to rejuvenate her career, right? I think that's the path and why she's not turning him in. And do you think they're going to catch David before he find out what's happening? Let's see. Okay, so this chapter was really good. It gave some good information that they finally caught up with Rachel. They found some news about what her part in David's escape. And I guess we getting ready to find out what's going to happen next. So I'm going to see y'all in the next chapters. Bye.